Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I'm your host, Mate B. This is a Mumbo Jumbo for the mid-January. It is 2022, despite maybe misreported dates and times and stuff in the last video. I am now aware of the correct year that we're in, which is jolly good. And it's fun times ahead. As we watch the current government in a bit of a pickle. Fuck them. About fucking time. But yes, anyway, all that shit's going on. So anyway, how are you all? You all good? You all well? Been playing some games, I hope, and stuff. And well, me too. So that makes two of us. In fact, speaking of that, to segue in, as it were, smoothly, like a GMTV presenter, what have I played? Played games. Played, very quick, let's go through. There's a few. Last weekend, got a go at Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy. Got that right. There we go, there's that. So this is a re-implementation of the Dune game, the original Dune game that was reprinted by GF9. They've now put out this, which is a 4-player version of Dune. So it has been refined down, removing some elements to make it a more balanced game for 4 players to play and experience the joy of the epicness of Dune, but in a shorter playtime with less player count. That is the intent behind this. So we played it. I did take some photos, which I will be flashing up during this entire discussion. So how was it? Jury's out on it, to be honest with you. It is a lot faster, they've tweaked the things so you get more spice at the start of the game. They've kind of tweaked down so you basically even have 4 of the original houses you can play as. There's Harkonnens, there's Atreides, there's Fremen, and then there's the Imperium, which is kind of the Bene Gesserit mixed up with all that sort of stuff. So you play one of those 4. There's another balanced version of the game for 2 players I've not tried yet, but it looks like that's been kind of designed for that. So I'll focus on the 4-player version of this. So me, Jamie, Robbie, and Tony played that. I was the Atreides, I think. I think Jamie was the Harkonnen, which he forgot one of the major rules of the Harkonnen. Tony and Robbie. Robbie was the Imperium, I think, and Tony the Fremen. Anyway, irrelevant really. Yes, so all the basics of asynchronous factions are still there. The Atreides have their options of, in the fight, having a look at what to do. The Harkonnen can pull more traitor cards. The Imperium get the money from you spending it on cards and stuff. And the Fremen obviously got more movement options when they're on the board. Same principle applies. It's played over 5 rounds, and that's all it plays up to. From round 3 onwards, if someone can hold 3 strongholds, they win the game straight away there and then. If it goes all the way to the 5th turn and no one holds 3 strongholds, then it's based on, you get 5 points per stronghold, and then every piece of spice you have is worth points. Something it kind of works the same. You turn a card over the blow of spice on the board, you try and go there, there's a storm is circling, and the battles work the same way with the battle wheel and the characters being used and the cards being played. It is all the same, but stuff has definitely been taken out. I haven't had a deep dive and look at it. It does mainly now seem to be focused on the dudes on the map element of the game, in that the fight to the skirmish on the board. You've got the cards, the market cards I think they are, which give you lots of cool game-breaking stuff, and they seem to have taken a bit more into those, because my big beef for this is a game of conquest and diplomacy. The whole kind of major meat of Dune is that pairing up with different people and all that sort of muddying of waters of who is doing a deal with who and all that. That is kind of stripped away. There is no allegiances in this game, as far as I could see. So all that's stripped out. It's just more of this 4-player knife fight in an elevator, to coin a phrase. Or knife fight in a sand pit, maybe. A Gom Jabbar fight in a sand pit. Yes, that's very thematic. So, plays really quick. And it is this Dudes on the Map game. It has lost kind of all the nuance of that sort of interplay between the different things. That does seem to be the thing that's fallen by the wayside. There isn't any of that really. It is just place troops, fight, and do that. And there's brutal. And me and Jamie were like straight at it from the outset, and it didn't go well. In fact, I ended up in a terrible state towards the end. So yeah, jury's out on it at the moment. I love Dune. This feels like a bit of a vanilla version of it, and I'm not entirely sure, without having played some more, and I will have to play some more, whether really, I don't know. You're almost better off if you can just play a 4-player version of the original one. It feels at the moment, because it's just got, there's a bit more complication in it, but without it, it just feels a little vanilla. It feels a little bit lacking in any meat to it. It gives kind of the feel, it's like a cover album of Dune. That's what I'll say. It feels like a cover album, because you get kind of the feels of it, but not it just feels like it's missing something. But there, it's one play, so that may change in subsequent plays. It was quick, I'll give it that, and it did give you the flavour of playing Dune. It just kind of leaves me going, well, it was faster, it was over quicker. I kind of felt a little bit like I played Dune, but I'm left going, I kind of wish I played Dune. So that's where we are on that. We shall see. But a good one, I think, if you're trying to get noobs into it, muggles and stuff, especially people who've gone to see Dune and now interested about it, this might be an easier sell. So anyway, we played a bit of that. What else did we play? Stuff. That's what we played. Nothing Personal is the other thing we played. I fucking confused myself. So Nothing Personal came out a while back. It was heralded as Tom Vassel's first board game design with Steve Avery. To be fair, they've subsequently reprinted it without Vassel's name on it, a refined version of it. So I get the feeling the credit was probably a little bit more to do about the sales that was going to generate rather than Vassel's involvement. My one wonders. I don't know. Anyway, by the by, I mean, I remember the time when it first came out, so this is me digging into older games that I've not played for a while. I like Nothing Personal. I like the idea of it. It's based basically off of Kremlin, an earlier game, and it's you essentially controlling different mobsters. You're kind of fighting of a mobster family, and it's done by you placing your reputation. I say reputation, it's not, but it's your influence markers on these gangsters to control them. And you do have rounds of you playing cards and placing influence markers on these things, and then a round of them actually activating, where you can use the abilities, the ones you have the most influence upon. If there's more than a certain amount of influence goes down on these guys, at a certain point they can get put in prison. There's lots of cards which allow you to kind of tweak and mess with the game, very cosmic encounter-ish, sort of lots of game-breaking almost abilities in there. The influence goes down, the gangsters activate, and then as these get taken out of the picture, they kind of move up the board. So you can kind of bet early on a lower tier character, because eventually it will become more powerful. And you can whack gangsters, lots of dice rolly bits involved in that, and there's all sorts of. It's one of those games that is designed specifically for you to be an absolute dickhead to anyone around you, and it really thrives on that. One thing we did, and I enjoyed playing it again. One thing, it'd been a while, I was a bit rusty. One thing completely forgot after the round one is one of the keys to this game is the anteing up of it. So in the first round of placing your influence markers, it's fine, everyone gets to do it, where they do it using the cards to do that. And the second round, what's supposed to or can happen is people can ante, i.e. pot a monetary value to playing that next card, which forces everyone else having to do the same and potentially anteing it up further to make it more expensive to play these actions. Completely forgot after the first round that was a viable strategy, and it does change the game up massively, because anyone with a cash advantage can really close other players out of the game. But we've forgotten it, so we basically didn't play with that because we'd forgotten about it. Still enjoyable. Jamie, I think, ran away with the lead. I was trailing him to a point. I do like Nothing Personal. I know the revised edition, I don't think it changes much, just makes it a bit easier to play. The rulebook's a bit juddery, and there's a few kind of clanky bits in it, I think, that they've kind of smoothed out. Well worth picking up if you can get it. I do, if you're a fan of that sort of that gangster theme, it looks gorgeous, and still I presume the new edition is just as gorgeous. The chits were really thick, nice sort of metal coins and all sorts of good stuff in there. It's really kind of high production thing. Kind of was just ahead of the curve of really before we got into Kickstarter and overproduced blinged up stuff. This was one of the really early ones that really present at retail, and a really nice sort of component quality. Love the art on it. It just looks gorgeous on the table. And I really enjoy the style of the game of you kind of, it captures that gangster feel of infighting and backstabbing and all sorts of fun and games. Was enjoyable to play. It's one I definitely want to play again. Now it's fresh in the old noggin, and hopefully remember to do the anteing up this time and enjoy it. But yeah, really good. If you've never played Nothing Personal, I know it's still available in the revised edition, and you're a fan of gangster genre stuff, it's good. It's a nice heady mix of stuff for you to do, and it's got a good strategy to it. This whole of you kind of betting on things, and especially when you can whack gangsters high up the food chain and kind of make moves and all this sort of stuff. Ooh, very cool. But yeah, I enjoy that. I do enjoy Nothing Personal. It's one I'm glad I still have, and it will be coming to the table again soon. And we played Chronicle again, the little Z-Man card game, trick-taking game. Seems to break Tony. He was like he was playing Terraform Mars. I'm not the words. God, losing words. Anyway, yes, he really struggled. Very much sort of AP strewn it, and I feel as the game should be played a bit faster. Tony, just saying. Then we played Dinogenics. Ben bought his copy of Dinogenics without the expansion. We played it. I like Dinogenics. I don't think I did very well. Can't remember now. But it does feel a game that needs that expansion. But he didn't have it with him. For some reason. I don't know why he just chucked it on the box. Anyway, base game was fun, it was enjoyable. It's kind of basic. It's still good, but it's kind of basic-ish. And that expansion, I remember kind of giving it a little zing, a little bit of legs, just to make it that little bit it needed, I think, to make it a little bit more fun for me. But yeah, I enjoyed that. It was okay. Then last night we played Archipelago. I can't say it. Archipelago. Fuck me. Which I'm not sure that's in print at the moment. And to be fair, reminding myself as we played it, some of its troubling themes of colonialism and other stuff, which is certainly out of favour these days in board games. And I don't know whether it is in print or if it would come back to print without tweaking stuff. Anyway, that all aside, I do enjoy Archipelago. The basic gist is you are essentially one of these awful East India Company type people moving into the area to colonize these islands, and it's a nice heady mix of stuff. You're putting tiles down, which gives you resources. You've got meeples, you can move around and farm things. You're building buildings on to give you more abilities. There's cards of these sort of double powered cards you can buy, so you're kind of building like asynchronous powers. It's a kind of an Ameritrashy Euro thing going on, and it's a nice mix because there is that sort of fucking poking pillar in the eye type stuff and doing mean stuff and all that going on. It does play long. Our game went on for a good few hours, I think. Well, it did anyway. But you know what? It's an entertaining ride, and it's. I like it in that you've got this market going on, you've got these workplace actions there, you've got lots of stuff as you can build like an engine of your own in front of you. And it doesn't take any prisoners. There's lots of opportunity for doing horrible things to people if you want, and making deals and things and stuff. And all of that kind of works. It's a bit of a beast, and the teacher's initially like, oh, but once you get past it, it's a fun game. It's a good mix of all that stuff, that meaty stuff going on. But I like it because it's got that naughty behaviour, which is always fun. So this Archipelago, I believe there was a expansion for it. I don't know what it was called. I did mention it the other night with Ben, and he never heard there was a expansion, but I'm sure there is. So I don't know what it would be. But I don't even know if it's in print. I'll check. But if you can find it, if you get a bunch of you around it, it's good fun. Here is the news. News. Let's do news. Let's do some news. We're doing news. So yeah, GF9 have announced a new game, it's called Wise Guys, but looking at it, it's basically the Sons of Anarchy game. They've kind of obviously without the theme, they've put a gangster theme on it, which kind of works. I've always said Sons of Anarchy feels a lot similar to kind of the Godfather game from Eric Lang. And it's not bad. And I did say a little while ago, if you can't track down Godfather, Sons of Anarchy is kind of a nice alternative. And now it's coming up with this different theme. I don't know what tweaks they've made to it. But if you missed out the first time around, it's definitely was well worth a pick up. I mean, it worked with the Sons of Anarchy theme. It was good fun, but I can see how it would work as a gangster game. I don't know what the RFP on that is, actually. I didn't check, but it's not bad. It was good fun. I mean, basically the only issue I have with GF9 at the moment is they had that really great run of Spartacus, Sons of Anarchy. There was Homeland to a less degree, a few other bits they did that were really great licensed games. I know they lost, there was a designer, whose name, I think it was Sean Swagger, I'm going to say, who died sadly, very unexpectedly. He was the kind of key designer around a bunch of these titles in this run they had, and they were a pretty good run. And they've not quite kind of found their feet subsequent to that, it feels to me. I mean, Dune, they've done well with the reprint of that, and it's cool. Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. I have it, and I think there's supplier issues on that, so if you wanted it, you might worth picking up, because I don't think they've got the license for the Aliens movies anymore, since the Fox Disney merger. Digressing there. But I'll be honest, that I found was a bit clunky. I need to play it some more, because I love Aliens. It looked good, and I love the original Aliens board game was covered. I just found it was a clunky version of what I wanted. There's a lot of moving parts that not necessarily needed to be there. But anyway, yes, so that's that. But Wise Guys is out and stuff and things. They seem to have lost their steam. But if you missed out on the other ones, there's a chance to get that. Alicat Games announced they're printing Autobahn. I think it's a Spiel game. I can't remember. I don't really know. I presume it's about motorways in Germany, I guess. And I initially looked at the box art and thought, that looks nice. And then when you look closer, you look at the box art and you go, that's awful. Looks like it's been done by a primary child. Just the whole, everything's, no. Gutenberg is coming from Portal Games. Gutenberg was definitely a Spiel release of you playing rival printing press owners or something, I think, and doing stuff. It's got quite a buzz. It was a buzz coming out of Spiel. It's now got in a UK. Fuck me, Brexit, here we go. An English language version of it. And Portal said they're going to send me a copy of it. So I will give that a look. We seem to be going very Euro these days. But there we go. So we'll see what that's like, printing press things and stuff. Spiel, the toy fair, the German toy fair has been cancelled. And then they have been also bought up by someone. Who was it? Nuremberg Toy Fair was cancelled, but they bought the Spiel, apparently. The organisers behind that now in Spiel. Who knows? What I said initially, the first one, was wrong. Reverse it, and it's right. Tabletop Simulator, I've got in some hot water, just a general load of shit's gone down over there. Something to do. I've not followed it massively, but because I really don't like Tabletop Simulator as a thing. I've covered it before. I don't enjoy using it. It's just, as I said, it just really seems to be this thing in the way of me enjoying a board game. It doesn't work for me. Never did during the whole lockdown and all the other stuff. I know a lot of people, there's a huge community over it, but not for me. Anyway, they got a load of shit over basically doing some transphobic stuff in relation to their online chat or something. I look into you, but just generally some kind of lunk-headed things that just not probably a good look in the current climate, or at all really. But yes, anyway, I don't like Tabletop Simulator anyway, so probably another good reason not to like them, I suppose. So yes, fuck them. Full Game Marine was all right. I got around with that. Anyway, so that's that. I don't think there's much else in the way of news, to be honest. I mean, it is early January. Everything kind of slows down at Christmas and it kind of slowly creeps back up. So I'm sure as we get into February, March, there will be an abundance of stuff. So it leaves me with a few other bits. What else I've done? The Book of Fett. The old Book of Fetty. I've watched a bit more of that, so they've got 3 episodes of that now. The first one left me going, huh? The second one was like, maybe there's okay. The third one, I will say, actually, it started to kind of bits of it I enjoyed. It's kind of Dances with Tuscans, as I said before, or Boba of Arabia. There's lots of that sort of that feel to it. There is one massive, big fucking misstep in the third episode, which is this biker gang, which are kind of like a bunch of mods, and it just tonally just is like a real duff note. It just, all about their design and everything about them and all of it just absolutely didn't work for me at all. I just found it like tone deaf, like, I get the feeling it's a Robert Rodriguez. I know he's a bit of a petrol head, and he's had bikes and biker gangs and stuff and some of his stuff before, so I feel it's probably an influence he's brought in. But yeah, for me, that was really, no, just did not work for me at all. Really didn't. But the rest of it, a lot of it's kind of cool. I mean, we get Danny Trejo in a Star Wars show, for starters. What more could you ask for that? And a Rancor. And spoilers there if you've not watched it. It's a bit late for them now, but you should have. I'm presuming you watched it by now. It comes out on Wednesday. It's now the weekend. Come on. But yes, I'm presuming it's building to something. I have issues with it because it's kind of a bit like the Mandalorian season 1 did, in that they tonally kind of had this spaghetti western thing. Fine, we're doing more Lawrence Arabian than that this time around. I like that they're working on the bit more background to the Tuscans. I kind of like all these little bits, but it just it's very slow going, kind of. Just feels like it's kind of doing very similar to Mandalorian. It's kind of leisurely going into it. Some of it's all right. I thought I knew where it was going, but it's not going that way, which is kind of cool. So we'll see. It's definitely setting some stuff in motion. They've dropped the the hint of the potentially Boba riding a Rancor, which equal parts in my childlike mind makes me squee with joy, because it's something you would have done with the action figures at home. Certainly, I would. Rancor, Boba Fett, fucking yes. And the other part of me goes, is this the Star Wars equivalent of jumping the shark, riding the Rancor? Because it just feels, I don't know. It's utterly brilliant, potentially, and a car crash all at once. So we'll see. But yeah, Book of Boba Fett is growing on me. There's there's a shit ton of deep cut sort of Star Wars shit going on in the background. If you're that way inclined, I'm not even going to nerd myself too far in it, because even someone that's way past me. But it's all right. It's okay. It's pretty good. I will continue watching it. I'm certainly a Star Wars. I mean, there's Star Wars. Who wouldn't do that? So anyway, yes, there was that. Then The Expanse. So The Expanse, the final episode of The Expanse, came out the other night. No, I'd say a couple of things. Number one, I finally caught up in The Expanse and was actually enjoying it, and I was enjoying season 6 up until a point like last week or two. I found out, someone else mentioned it, that there was only 6 episodes in the season, and I think I just watched the 4th or the 5th one, and I was left going, well, that feels like we're like only barely at the midway point of a season, I've just watched. How the fuck are they going to wrap all of this up in any manner, satisfactory manner, considering? Because it seems to be there's a lot of plate spinning at this point. And I'm not going to massively spoilery territory, but I will cover it. So, anyway, I've watched it, and a lot of my fears kind of realised, in that it is desperately trying to tie up an awful lot of loose ends. There is a whole sort of sub-storyline going through in the whole of season 6 in regards to one of these planets through one of the warp gates, which isn't wholly satisfying. Not sure. I mean, it goes somewhere, but it goes to the kind of, it just goes somewhere. There's a lot of stuff left hanging. I mean, it's The Expanse. There's this huge sprawling thing. I get that. And there was no easy way to tie a knot in it to a point, because it is just this massive kind of a lot of shit going on. But we really only closed off this much of what is still in play. And there was more stuff set in play in this season that really I'm struggling with, because why are we setting more stuff in play that we're not seeing it through to its... And I get, leave them wanting more and leave, gems of what could be. But there's a lot of what fucking could be, rather than that. So, I don't know, I was left with it. It was entertaining, it was good. I must admit, again, spoiler territory here to a point. I'll spoilers now, so if you've not watched The Expanse and you're going to watch it, then maybe skip ahead 5-10 minutes, maybe. Is the stakes, considering that this is the final season, and you think, well, no one of importance dies on the good side. No one that I could think of, which I found a little bit like there's battle, there's shit going on. There's a couple of close calls, but no one bought the farm, which was a bit like, okay. I was expecting someone to go out in a blaze of glory. And so there's that. I found the taking out of the bad dude at the end, the Marco Wrath of Khan type style, kind of felt a little bit, we've seen that kind of thing before, and it was kind of a bit of I think he should have gone out a better way. It feels like there should have been more to that. There's a little bit of okay, he's died. A lot of it, I don't know. It was one big sort of space battle, essentially, and it did what it did very well. It did close off, kind of those counter stories. I don't know where we're at. I don't know if there is an intent to somehow follow this up with something else, or that is it. Because I know there was more of the books. This kind of finishes here, and there's still a good few volumes of books, I think, that aren't even been touched. So I don't know if that's it, and you can read the books and find out some more. I honestly don't know. But yeah, as a TV experience, I loved The Expanse. First season was brilliant. Second season wasn't bad. It was pretty trundled along. And even the third season felt like it was moving. Fourth felt a bit like treading water. Wasted opportunities definitely there. And the fifth and sixth focus on this kind of storyline. I feel, again, there's a lot could have been made of those last 3 seasons and missed opportunities, I feel, altogether. Really. All right. It's not bad. It was enjoyable. It was a good run. It's not something that I may revisit like in a rush. That kind of came in for a good closure on that. I would have been maybe more invested, but it didn't. But it was all right. It just, a little disappointed, and it kind of, I did feel they'd set themselves up quite a steep hill to try and get to the top of, and didn't quite land that one. I never covered it last week. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I watched that the other day. I enjoyed it. It was about a half hour too long, if I'm honest with you. It definitely gets all the Ghostbuster feels in the last half hour of it. And some of it's well done. I mean, fuck me, it's 100 billion years ahead of that last Abomination they put out. That was awful. Awful on every conceivable level. This kind of feels a bit Goonies mixed with Ghostbusters. Not maybe enough ghosts, maybe. There was some weird, I don't know, it was good. It was certainly better than last. It set up a lot of things in motion, so we'll see if there's going to be more of that, because, Ghostbusters is kind of cool. It's my birthday in a week or so's time, so I need to make a birthday list. It's very important. Just saying that. And that's it. That's it. I don't think I've got anything else to say. This is kind of it. So, anyway, I hope you have a good week and look after yourself, play some games. I'm waiting for my Nemesis Lockdown to arrive. Is on the way. So I don't know whenever that arrives, and I will attempt to do an unboxing for that. Potentially Charlie's got a copy of it coming as well. So what we might do is, we've been discussing the potential of like a double header unboxing-y type thing, where we can just talk bollocks about Aliens movies and stuff like that, and what's in the games and things. So that might happen. Technical skills withstanding, and if when the fucking games ever turn up. But yeah, I've been Mike B. This has been Who Dares Rolls. There we go. There was a mumbo jumbo rambling mess of our usual nonsense. Whatever you do, be very careful. Stay away from gardens and wine and cheese, because you can easily find yourself in a meeting that suddenly descends into a party. So just be careful of that. Please, everyone, you don't want to get caught out like that. It's very easy to happen. Just be very careful. But look after yourselves, have fun, and I'll catch up with you next week.